What do you got there?
Just a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay, cool. To my left is Matt Serfass, and to my right, Jack Bradley. These guys are organizers and supporters of the disc golf course in the Danbury area that's been proposed in City Council. What's up, guys?
Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for reaching out to me, Jack.
It's a pleasure. I'm really happy to have the opportunity to come here and talk about it. So for all of the vitriol that's been spit by people, it's created this opportunity for us.
Sure. Now, what... okay, let's get right into it. What did I get wrong?
Well, you pissed off all the frolfers.
Yes. Right. Well, other than that, because we'll get to the personality profile later.
What I will say, and definitely, this is definitely personality profile stuff, but I'll say it real quick. One of the best ways to piss off the frolfers is to refer to them as frolfers.
Right.
He found that out.
Yeah.
So, as you have found out,
I didn't invent that word.
Many times. No. And look, disc golf gets poked fun at all the time. Not as much as Quidditch, which I wanted to think a couple of times. That was one of my first thoughts when I read the blog. I was like, hey, man, we're not Quidditch.
Right.
Which I did not type into the internet.
Sure, right.
Because I didn't know anything about Quidditch.
Right. So I see your point there. Yeah. Right.
And I'm sure that if I had, I'd have spent the next week receiving threats from
correct
Quidditch players far and wide.
Right.
So, can I start with a quick shout out, because disc sports never get radio play. In fact, we do manage to get on ESPN Sports Center top 10 plays once in a while. Somebody throws a hole in one, an ace, we make it there. But I don't think we've ever gotten radio. What I want to say real quick is that I play, and many people play, in a competition called New England Team Challenge. And it has teams in it, disc golf teams of 23 people, 20 men and 3 women, from New York, down where I am, all the way up to Maine. There are about 60 teams in the league of 23 people each. And there are currently 5 pools. So there's an A pool and a B pool and a C pool, a D pool, and then what they call a play-in pool, which is where tons of teams are trying to get up into the upper leagues. And each season, 2 teams are relegated from A pool, 2 teams are promoted from B pool. Anyway, I play in C pool. We had our finals on Saturday, and one of the teams we played was Team Bridgeport, who are a fantastic bunch of guys, and they won it spectacularly. So my shout-out is I wanted to say congratulations to Jason Kosiniak, who's a Danbury guy and one of the captains, Elliot DeLapp, who's the other captain, and my boy Todd Springer, who their match went to a doubles match, went to a 5-hole playoff, and on the last hole of the playoff, my man parked a 300-foot drive and then canned a 15-foot putt to win it spectacularly. Their match had come in tied. Captains field 2 doubles teams to go out. That thing went 5. And Bridgeport took this thing, and now they've been promoted to B pool. Todd's partner was Chris Schofield, who's one of the best disc golfers in the state.
I recognize both of those names, by the way.
Is that right?
Yeah, I absolutely do.
So that... Then when Bridgeport brings me to Frisbee, because there's a really good reason why we call it Frisbee. And now we've come up with a really good reason why we don't call it Frisbee. But initially, Frisbee was started, the name Frisbee comes from the Frisbee Pie Company out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. And the reason we know what a Frisbee is at all is because when Frisbee sold their pies, they sold them in pie pans. And the pie pans needed to be returned. So it wasn't something that they didn't have this is 100 years ago more. Their pies weren't coming in cardboard or plastic or anything like that. So you paid a deposit on the pie when you bought it. And on the bottom of the pie pan was stamped the Frisbee Pie Company. Mm-hmm. And kids started throwing them. And that's why we're calling it a Frisbee, because Whammo Corporation, good, solid capitalist American business, turned that into what we call the modern Frisbee.
Right.
And so Frisbee has deep-seated roots in the nutmeg state.
So let me just interrupt you for a second. So the discs that you use are specially made for The disc
for disc golf.
Yes.
Yeah. So
drivers,
it's not the frisbee from when you were a kid, and you've played the game.
Sure.
I'm going to hand Ethan a couple of discs here. Matt, tap dance.
But I don't want you guys to miss your chance to say what's going on with the Danbury project.
I'll jump in here. I mean, I was kind of the guy who had this vision. I like disc golf. I wanted to bring it to Danbury. It's a very low impact sport. I'm not an entrepreneur like they say in the paper. Nobody's making any money off of it. It's going to be completely donated to the city.
Okay.
It's going to be their course. And we just basically said, we'll donate the course to you. We'll install the course for you. And then the course is just going to exist for anybody to use anytime they want, anytime the park is open. So I just think there's been some misconceptions about it. I think that it was a little misunderstood at first. They really didn't quite know what disc golf was. But essentially, it's kind of like, the city installs a swing set. That swing set's there to be used anytime anybody ever wants.
Right.
It's the same thing with a disc golf course. A lot of times you wouldn't even notice it's there. So the basket's there. You'd have a tee pad or even just a line in the, in the dirt, and you'd throw your frisbee at it, your disc at it, and that course will exist for anybody to play anytime they want.
All right. And in terms of my article and the article in the News Times, there was in both of them a mention about an insurance certificate.
Right. And
they said that you didn't have.
Do
you have it?
I have I have a copy of it right here.
Did you have it when they published the article?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I think it's just, we've been doing this for like 3 years now, and there's a lot of people involved, and I just don't know if all the correct information is getting disseminated to everybody.
Right.
So, I mean, as far as the construction goes, we are a certified 501c3, Wedges. I have the letter from the IRS here with me today. And we have a licensed tree company that's going to come and oversee any of the tree work that happens. And it's fully insured up to $1 million. And, all these things are we're more than happy to do whatever it takes to satisfy the city.
Gotcha.
That is for absolutely certain.
We got to take a break. Let's come back.
We do have to take a break, and you guys are going to hang out for the next segment, right?
Absolutely.
Cool. So we can. Now, this is real quick before I get into the break. This is the Farrington Woods where we're.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
8:27.
All right, buddy.
Talking disc golf this morning.